Quite the face, Sean. Welcome to the Guide to Movies podcast with Joe and Sean. I am Joe. He is Sean. This is episode 48. We're creeping up to that big 5-0, which is exciting. And for episode 48, we finally have Darren from Darren's Movie Reviews. How's it going?
Going good. How's it going, guys?
Oh, just a pleasure, you know. Here,
Monday,
Army of the Dead world.
A world where Army of the Dead no longer exists because it's completely dropped off the face of the earth. Nope, it's still around.
People are loving it.
It's a time loop. It's going to come back again.
In the form of a prequel and a sequel.
Yeah.
The prequel series apparently has Joe Manganiello attached to it.
Oh, of course it does.
But he's voicing the anime character. Like, it's not like an actual, live action. But
I'm sorry, this is an anime series that's going to be the prequel to the.
Yes.
It's called like Lost Vegas, I think, or something like that.
Yes. Yes, and it's also got Vanessa Hudgens, so expect a musical number. Repeat of Sucker Punch.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to watch it. Kind of. Well, we have a lot of news to get to, so we're going to jump into it just to get started with what we've been watching. We've all been watching a lot of things here. I'm going to go through mine quickly because the two that I want to talk about aren't out yet, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. But I did see A Quiet Place 2 last week and posted the review today, finally. I very much enjoyed the movie. It picks up right where the last one left off and is just really, it's incredible how Krasinski has honed in on how to build suspense and deliver on it, utilizing sound, especially sound as it's related to the story itself with his daughter. The weight of the film is really carried on her shoulders as well as Noah Jupe's shoulders, and it's really kind of great. And Emily Blunt's just fantastic as per usual. It demands to be seen in theaters. I do agree with that quote that I've been seeing around because, man, it hit me. Like, the sound, I was like, it catches you out of nowhere. I'm telling you right now. In a theater with like 7 other critics, I was like, knocked over my coffee, and that's a true story. The other one I want to talk about, I may have talked about this last week, but I'm going to talk about it until it comes out. In the Heights is a phenomenal movie, and it is probably my top of the year so far. It is just a really great exploration of culture, and the music's fantastic. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this project, it's Lin-Manuel Miranda's first play. The movie's based on his first musical. So it comes before Hamilton, but those who are only familiar with Hamilton will enjoy this because you'll get it. You'll recognize similar tunes, but there's also some fun callbacks to Hamilton. Sean, you got something.
Well, it seems like when you're like saying it comes before Hamilton, it's like in the Hamilton universe, but Hamilton would obviously come first before In the Heights because like it's something. But I don't know.
Not in the Lin-Manuel Miranda multiverse.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's a multiverse situation that we have here in the LMM, if you will. Wait, the LMM universe, if you will.
And I know you both have tickets for A Quiet Place 2 already, right? Which is awesome.
I'm working on it. Yep.
Yes, I loved how you said theaters. I'm like, great, I'm watching in my car with the bad stereo system, so that'll be fun.
that would be frightening as well. My God.
Yeah. I think there's scenes in cars where monsters get people, so there you go. You got that.
This is very true. But both of those movies definitely, they've had a lot of hype, and they both were delayed because of the pandemic, and I think that it's well worth the wait for both of them. They deliver. And then MODOK. I started watching MODOK. I watched one episode. Have either of you watched this yet?
I started watching that first episode, and I was like, I am too drunk for this.
It's ridiculous, but it's like there's a lot of fun, like Easter eggs. And Daryl and John, the guys that are doing the recaps, are going to do a whole like separate post on the Easter eggs because it is pretty entertaining. Mm-hmm. It's very Robot Chicken-esque, not only in how it looks, but obviously with Seth Green behind it, which I didn't realize.
Oh, he is behind it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So I don't know. I don't know when I'll watch that, the rest of it at least. But,
do you guys have the whole season out already?
Yeah.
We're getting one episode a week in Canada, so I'll be finishing it come August. But
what is that releasing on?
It's on Disney Plus, but we have an add-on called Disney Star, which is all the Fox movies and the Hulu stuff that's not licensed out to other streamers.
Gotcha. Yeah. I remember watching the Investors Day, I guess it was last year, where they were like talking about Star and Star Plus and all this stuff. I was like, what are we getting and what are other people getting? I don't understand. This is a lot.
F-star CKU.
Yeah.
I was like, Star or Stars? Did they acquire Stars or like what's happening? Anyway.
Well, HBO's making a show about the Lakers, but it's called Showtime, and that's just being a dick. I think that's just.
And the games in there are going to be shown on Prism. Remember Prism? Anyway, Sean, you have 2 TV shows. What's going on with you,
buddy? I didn't watch any movies this week. It's I have this issue. I mean, plenty, but this one issue where I really can't like start a movie and then I need to end it. I need to finish it. So if I only have a half hour, I'm not going to start a movie at another time. Yeah. Many normal people can, just like watch it and then watch another part, then watch another part, watch it in increments, and that's fine. But for some reason, I need that experience. So this week was just very busy. So I started 2 shows. One is the HBO Max show Hacks. With Gene Smart in the lead. And Gene Smart has been pumping up HBO shows like The Watchmen and Mare of Easttown and just been absolutely killing it on the sidelines. And she is just in the lead here. She plays I don't want to make this comparison, but I think this comparison is the only one you can make, a Joan Rivers type comic. Because unfortunately, I can't think of any other like older female comedian, which makes me furious. But it is just this beautiful, like just hysterical show. Young talent involved as well that are just absolutely like terrific. And so just all in all, just absolutely great stuff. So that's one of them. The other one is For All Mankind, which I'm finally watching because everyone's telling me that you're incorrect if you don't watch it. And so I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch it. I'm loving it, except it is very slow. And so it does lose you. It's interesting though, because basically this is an alternate version of the space race. And so everything's off the table. There's suspense on everything. It's like, well, that character can't die because that character, and it's like, wait, now we don't know if that character can die or not because everything has been changed. The entire like playbook has been thrown out. I've heard there's something massive that happens in the second season. I think in the beginning of the second season and in the end of it. I think it was slightly spoiled for me. I don't know if it was a spoiler or not. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm looking forward to continuing this one as it goes.
This is the one that Chris from Talking TV was telling us about.
He was talking about it. Yeah.
He was really big on it. Darren, have you seen this at all?
I've not seen that one. No, it's been on my watch list for a while, but I think it just moved up a bit because I need a new show now. So we'll try that out next.
It's supposed to be really good, and it's I was going to say Joel Edgerton, and that's not at all who it is. It's
Joel Kinnaman.
Joel Kinnaman. Yeah, Kinnaman.
The other Joel.
Yep, that's exactly who it is. The other Joel, who I really like. We talked about this a few weeks ago. I like him in roles. He's like very. I don't know. He can play the asshole very well.
He's got an intensity to him that's very fascinating. Like even like in this, he's just kind of chilling at the bar, and you're just like, oh, he could just like kill everyone in here. He's got that like Joaquin energy where it's just like he's just like pissed, and just without even like sort of emitting any of that emotion.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. Darren, you have quite a few on the list. What have you been watching?
So the first one I just watched last night, and I wanted to talk about it because no one's talking about it. It's an Australian film. It's called The Dry. It's got Eric Bana. He's a federal agent of some sort. They didn't really say what type of agent, but he goes home to his hometown for a friend's funeral and starts investigating the friend's death. He was led to believe that it was a murder-suicide, whereas his friend shot the wife and the 4-year-old daughter and then killed himself in the house. So it's a bit of a heavy film. But it turns out he doesn't quite buy it, and there's some things at the crime scene he doesn't quite think that's the story. So he starts diving into that. So it's this kind of cop mystery thriller, and at the same time, you got this small town in the middle of Australia in the drought. It's been over 300 days since they've had rain, so everyone's getting a little crazy with the dryness. And it's a good tense thriller. It was nice to see Eric Bana in something again, because I haven't seen him in something forever. And it was a solid story. I couldn't actually guess who was behind, or if there was anyone behind the murder at the end of the story. Like, it kept me guessing when they did this big reveal. It shocked me. I'm like, this is nice. It's been a while since the movies actually shocked me like that. Because normally I can guess, watching something, you kind of know what the signs are for, oh yeah, it was that person. So that was nice. I'm
glad to hear that, because that movie, I remember hearing a little bit about it, and then I saw that it was getting really good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's awesome. I'm glad to hear. You're the first person that I know that's watched it, so I'm happy to hear that. That's on the list now.
Yeah, I heard about it from some people in Australia. They all got it back in January. So like, you got to watch it when it comes out. I'm like, yeah, we'll figure out when that is. And it's now a rental. It's like a $6 rental. So highly recommend that.
One of those $6 ones.
Yeah,
Love
it was
it.
nice. Like, perfect. It's not $20 done. Then the other movie I watched was Together. You guys have both already seen it, talked about it, but it's finally on premium video on demand. $15. It was great. I had a blast watching it. I think that's the best I've ever seen Ed Helms. Like,
absolutely.
If not best, it's tied with the first Hangover. It was just delightful. Ton of fun. And then I was going to talk about The Mayor of Easttown, but everyone's talking about that one. I'm gonna change it up. We can talk about that later, Sean.
That's good.
We pressure Joe to watch it.
It's working. It's working.
Yeah, but no. If you haven't watched that, watch that show. But the other one I'm going to talk about is Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. It's an NBC show. It just wrapped up its second season last week. Now's the time. Go binge it. It's on whatever the NBC streaming site is in the US. I think Peacock. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah,
probably.
It's on there. It's a really good show if you kind of like comedy, a bit of drama, and you don't mind musicals. It's about this girl, Zoe, who's in an MRI machine and an earthquake happens and she gets out of the machine and she can hear people's inner thoughts as musical numbers. So it gets quite comical. You know, she's at work and her friend's there and he starts singing a love song to her and she realizes going, oh, my best friend's in love with me. And she gets a glimpse into everyone's life. And so it kind of straddles the comedy and the fact that everyone's just bursting out into song and dance for a minute here or there. But it tackles deeper issues. Like it tackled depression a lot this season. So it gets a little heartfelt. So it's kind of mixing the musical comedy style of Glee with the family drama of This Is Us. So it's a really interesting mix. It hasn't been renewed yet for a third season. So everyone go watch it, get the numbers up. So it's apparently right on the bubble. But highly recommend that show. 2 seasons, 13 episodes a season. So nice, easy watch.
Oh, nice. It feels a lot like Crazy Ex-Girlfriend with the like having the musical about a lot of the mental issues, which like fascinates me always, of how it's a tricky balance to have.
Yeah, very much. Actually, that's a better comparison than Glee, because Glee didn't do that. They just had everyone be crazy. But yeah, the mental issues of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And the first season was about a family member dying of a rare disease. So it tackles some heavier topics, but it makes it light and accessible.
Listen, Glee had its moments. Okay?
It did. The first 3 seasons were great. Then it went off a cliff. As
happens with a lot of shows, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we've been watching a lot of things, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming up that we're going to be watching. And let's hope that this doesn't fall off a cliff when we get into Marvel Phase 4 and that we don't lose Marvel off into the sea. But we are, of course, I am trying to make a transition to talking about the Eternals trailer that came out today. I was surprised to see it, quite honestly. Randomly hit, and
I wasn't.
No, were you ready for it?
It was coming with Cruella.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because we're going to get Spider-Man of Black Widow in July. They've got a couple movies to start promoting, so we had to get it sooner. Yeah,
that's a good point. Well, look, I'm pumped about this. It is a beautiful trailer. Definitely looks like you can see Chloe Zhao's like touch on it. Right, yeah. It's completely her film. It was not as bombastic and crazy as we're used to with Marvel movies and Marvel trailers, and I really am into that. It just seems like it's a very good, character study of each of these individuals. I love Richard Madden in the lead. I'm very pumped for that with Gemma Chan. And we'll go from there. But Darren, your thoughts on this?
I'm excited too. Of all the Phase 4 movies, this is the one I've been looking forward to the most. It's the cosmic side of the MCU, which is nice to always dive into a bit more. The cast is out of control. Like Richard Madden, I'm happy for him to get a big leading role because he deserves it. And then, Gemma Chan, Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek, Kumail Nanjiani. It's going to be great.
Who dances Bollywood in it?
Bollywood. It's going to be great.
Can't wait.
The Marvel fans are going to be going, what is this? And I'm ready to love it. But yeah.
I think this is the type of movie that needs to be that the Phase 4 of Marvel needs. I mean, right now, Phase 4 of Marvel has been, frankly, just a bunch of television shows, which are fine. They're in fact lovely. But to be like totally honest, they're trying to cling to the past where, this was already summed up with Endgame. And it's just, we need to move in a different direction. This is that different direction. I think that this trailer helped confirm that Chloe Zhao has this, because at first I was wondering, I was like, there's not usually a lot of banter in her. I mean, between David Strathairn and Frances McDormand, maybe, but there's not a lot of banter, and this had some of that Marvel banter ready to go. There is a story that I need fact checked that Kevin Feige apparently contacted Chloe Zhao when they saw some of the footage and said, "How did you make the waves look like this? Like, what effects did you use?" Chloe was just, I filmed waves. Might be the greatest moment ever, because it just shows that she is going to bring in some realism to something that is the least realistic I can imagine, but it's just, if they don't want it to be, they want this to be the new Avengers, which I don't want to put that label on it. I'm scared to put that label on it. I don't want this to consider be the next Avengers. I want this to be the fun offshoot that, yes, does exist in this universe and links to this universe. I mean, these people are more powerful than anyone we're dealing with, really, because they're basically, from what I know, they're affecting time throughout time, correct? Something like that?
There's a lot of play with time. There is crossover as well. I mean, Gemma Chan's, I forget her character's name, but she ends up in the Avengers in one comic thread. So, I don't know if they're going that route with the Avengers, but they definitely are big on this in terms of it being, a massive property that they want to move forward. I think the struggle they're going to have with this is the struggle they're going to have when they introduce Fantastic Four, and the struggle they're going to have when they introduce X-Men. Is they've been sitting back and waiting all this time, but half the world's population disappearing wasn't enough to get you moving. So I'm wondering what the instigating incident is that brings them to the forefront, or if it just took that much time for them to organize.
I mean, this is the Captain Marvel problem, where we're just why didn't she show up in New York when when those aliens, I forget their names, came in through there, because that was quite a devastating attack, and Captain Marvel not nowhere to be found because she wasn't cast yet. But
there's other planets, Sean. There's other planets.
Okay, so that is tricky. You're right, because the Eternals are just straight on Earth.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that, but we'll see where that goes. The trailer looks great. I'm excited to see the Spider-Man one as well. It looks like we're going to start getting some, at least probably some images from some of these films as well that will start leaking. Or at least start being promoted. They're going to have to confirm some of the cast in the Spider-Man movie soon. There's still a lot of rumors about who's in it, who's not, and we'll see.
Yeah. Someone tell Andrew Garfield what to say in the next interview.
Oh my God. No, I didn't get the call. I'm not in it. I don't know what you're talking about. And everyone online's like, see, he's not in it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay.
And there's everyone else going, his stunt double was there. Andrew, your stunt double's there. I'm not in the movie. Come on.
Coincidence.
Give him a better line. Yeah.
It's coincidence. It is Sony and Marvel, so who knows? The guy probably was like, yeah, I'm Andrew Garfield. And so he's like, okay.
Brought in a new Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. The ultimate twist is they recast the actor.
Yeah.
Sean, your awards watch was really interesting to read this week, and I think it makes a lot of really good points, but tell us a little bit about it.
So I'll go a little bit into it, because I've just started to notice that there's been a lot of great animated movies, and we are only in the first part of the year, or I'll say the first part of the 10-month period. And in this situation right now, we have Raya and the Last Dragon, which literally showed up right at the qualifying, straight up the beginning of March. The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and then Luca are the big three. Those are the ones that pretty much are rock solid, that they're going to be nominations. Now, a lot of people say Raya doesn't have it, because just because it has to wait. Oh, not from a quality standpoint, just because it has to wait about 10 months. But I think that it's just such a purely great Disney movie that lasted very well with children, so therefore audiences eventually. That I think that it absolutely has a shot. Mitchell vs. the Machines is kind of the, once again, Netflix, Sony Pictures animation, the crazy one that would happen, just like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse did recently. Then there's, Luca. That is the Pixar film. It has an LGBT subtext, which is really interesting because Pixar hasn't really done something like that before. That has not been confirmed, by the way, but it's kind of insanely obvious. That it's the Pixar film, and it's the only Pixar film this year. I then looked ahead of what animated movies are coming, and there is not a lot that really can fight for that top spot other than these three. So I really, if you're going to start to predict them in the long run, these three. There's another Disney animated movie that looks beautiful called Encanto. I don't know anything about that, but it looks stunning. And there's really interesting. The other one I saw was Wendell and Wild, which is a Key and Peele animated film where they are. Yeah. So this is something I know nothing else about it, but it's like something where they are communicating with the devil. Apparently this is an animated movie. I don't think that's something crazy enough to fish its way in.
And it's stop motion.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that's big.
Okay. That's
fantasy horror comedy. What? Oh my gosh.
Oh, that makes me psyched.
I'm into that.
That might be the other one, or Boss Baby.
Wait. Two demon brothers face off against a nun and a pair of goth teens.
It's brilliant. It has brilliant written all over it. I mean, I'm now worried though that it's stop motion. That's something that could cause delays possibly, and it could move to next year. But at this point, that sounds like something that would stand out as this crazy nomination that often, goes into the 5.
Well, what about the Octopus Teacher anime feature-length film that's coming out?
We almost made it a show without talking about the goddamn Octopus Teacher. There's so many important documentaries this year, and there are going to be so many important animated movies this year that we're going to talk about the damn Octopus Teacher.
I have a list of things I have to hit each week and check.
Perfect.
Next, slowly deteriorate me.
Break him down.
I know. I had that for later, but I guess I don't need to mention the octopus now.
Oh my god!
If
there's ever a night that we get breaking news about a documentary, I want it to be about an Octopus Teacher follow-up. Or it's
if there's an Octopus Teacher sequel, I will shit a brick.
Or it's like Manta Ray Pupil or something. I don't know. I need something.
Manta Ray TA.
Sean, you have to tell the story about what you did today on your on a recommendation form.
So there was a student was changing to a different high school, and I was writing a recommendation, and they ask you for your name, so I was like, oh, Sean Phillips, and then position, and I put math teacher movies. I typed movies instantaneously right after. I'm tired at that point of the day, so thank the Lord I didn't notice.
It was so funny. All right,
you got math teacher in there. That's good enough, right?
I'm just trying to get followers, so the admissions council of that school would.
Yeah, the @ symbol in front was a little weird, but. All right, so let's start diving into the news. We have a lot of news to cover, really running the gamut here, but let's start with what broke today, later in the day, is that the long-in-development prequel film to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is titled Wonka, and is already scheduled for release in March of 2023, is going to star Timothée Chalamet. And the Paddington director, Paddington, really strong movie.
The Citizen Kane of our generation.
Yeah,
according to Rotten Tomatoes.
The Paddington director Paul King is set to helm with David Heyman from the Harry Potter series and others behind it. But they say to expect an origin story with a lot of musical numbers and such. And hey, when this news first broke that they were doing this, a Wonka film, a lot of people said Timothée Chalamet would be great. Yeah. And here you go. Mm-hmm. Sean, thoughts?
It's always great when we listen to the internet, because just give them that power. That's just a great call. That never really lets us down. But I mean, this is a no-brainer for casting. It looks good. Chalamet, great actor, can kind of do that creepy Wonka move. I mean, there is a reason the internet said cast Chalamet, and it is because I couldn't quite think of someone else that would fit that role better. This movie doesn't need to be made. And shouldn't really be made. I mean, we already got the origin story in the Burton film, and I'm still trying to wash that off in the shower. and it's one of those situations where I love the guy, I love the people behind it. I was a little bit snide with my Paddington Citizen Kane remark. I genuinely love the Paddington movies, and I think that, I don't know, because it's going to be the Paddington director, everyone's going to think it's going to be a Godard film, but I just wanted to be oh man, I don't know what I'm trying to express myself with right now, but there's just a certain rage where we're attaching ourselves to these constant I don't like to say that Hollywood doesn't have original ideas, because every single year we get original movies that are absolutely lovely, but I want the true talent like Chalamet to be used on something that's original. Now, granted, I'm excited for Dune, so there we go. But, other than that kind of thing, it just feels like we're attaching various things. Now we're about to see Cruella. Cruella is apparently getting great reviews, and it has some great people attached to it as well, and might even be an enjoyable, great movie. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. But it's the necessary portion of this, and do we need this? And I usually hate that argument of do we need this? I'm contradicting myself constantly right now. And it's just, and so maybe I should stop talking. But I don't think we need to know where Willy Wonka comes from. I like the idea of him being a mysterious character, something we don't know much about, and that I prefer that, honestly.
Well, and we got a little bit of not necessarily the origin, but we saw some flashbacks in the Tim Burton one, which is kind of going to be interesting to see how they reconcile all that. But Darren, what are your thoughts on this? Is this something that you're excited for?
I think it's great for Chalamet. He's mainly done smaller independent films, so it's another big franchise under his belt. So that's always nice to see a young actor get that. For the film itself, I'm with Sean. Is it necessary? Gene Wilder's classic is a classic, and just stop touching it. And and then you see that Chalamet may be singing in this movie, because there's apparently going to be whimsical musical numbers. I went, oh, has he ever sung before? I went to IMDb, went, oh, he sang in that Woody Allen film he was in, and found it on YouTube. And I'm like, okay, so he can sing, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of against it, and also hearing that they want to get a Roald Dahl universe going, and this is going to be the start of that. And I'm like, oh, I thought the Oompa Loompa show was enough on Netflix. Why do we need another movie? But
the Oompa Loompa show
on Netflix? There's an Oompa Loompa show on Netflix, apparently. That's what I read today.
I think Money Heist.
Yeah.
Wow, that's terrifying.
So, yeah, I'm against it, but will I be there opening night? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I want it to be like a darker take. Which I guess Tim Burton's kind of went that direction a little bit. And it is a kind of dark story. It can be. But I would love to see them, Timothy Chalamet has a really rough childhood, and the only thing that gets him through is the candy. And so he builds a candy empire.
But then Jesse Pinkman, he gets high on his own supply. Right? Yeah, the Paddington writer is definitely in on this right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be called Breaking Candy or something.
I thought Timothy already did that movie, Beautiful Boy, but instead of drugs, it'll be chocolate now.
He was really good in that movie, though.
You just don't understand.
He was really good in that movie. You know what else could have been really good? 4 Good Days, if they actually would have given it some freaking energy and effort.
Let me get my notebook out, because we got the 4 Good Days notice, the octopus teacher notice. So,
I was about to make another reference, and I'm actively avoiding the reference. But let's move on. Hocus Pocus 2, we finally have some more information on this. It was highly rumored and really expected at this point that Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy would return in their respective iconic roles, if you will. Now we know per a press release that was issued the other day that the film is going to hit Disney Plus in the fall of 2022. Everyone is back, and the synopsis we have is in Hocus Pocus 2, 3 young women accidentally bring the Sanderson sisters back to modern-day Salem and must figure out how to stop the child-hungry witches from wreaking a new kind of havoc on the world. It sounds pretty much like the synopsis for the first movie, but I am super excited for this. And Kathy Najimy, when she tweeted out the other day, she was like, I smell children again. And then Thora Birch tweeted 2022 will be marvelous, which has everyone believing that she's involved somehow, as the others are also rumored to be involved. Not Zachary Banks, because he's really dead this time. But Darren, is this a movie that you're looking forward to?
I am. I thought they were already confirmed to come back because Bette Midler was put it on Instagram last year, Hocus Pocus 2. I'm like, sweet, they're all coming back. But I saw this press release when I guess it wasn't official yet. Disney talked about it at Investor Day, but okay, sure, I'm all in. The one thing that I saw this press release, it's the Disney Plus, and I get everyone wants streaming, they want films on streaming, but this film should be in theaters. I'm sorry. The first one was back in theaters in October during the middle of the pandemic and topped the box office, making $3 million for like 3 weeks in a row. Like, why would you not put it in theaters? Everyone wants this. I really
literally in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, pandemic, but everyone is going to go watch Hocus Pocus in theaters and risk dying for it. So, hey, let's put it on Disney Plus.
Maybe it's because they caused an ultimate spike in coronavirus cases. That why they're like, let's just put this one on Disney Plus. Let's keep this in the
liability there.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm all in for it. Count me in. I don't care if it's the same story. I want to see those witches again. I watch Hocus Pocus 2 to 3 times every Halloween. So, but I think Disney should try and do some like Netflix and put their movies in theaters for a week or two before it, then put them on Disney Plus, because Hocus Pocus is going to make the money if they put it in theaters. And why would Disney pass up on money? That doesn't make sense with Disney, because they're literally putting Cruella on Disney Plus and charging you guys $30 in the US, us $35 in Canada, because our dollar's worth less. Let's get their money. So I don't
like a loon or something. Like
yeah.
Bide your time. Our dollars
yeah.
not doing too great.
Yeah, we're doing great.
Sean, Hocus Pocus.
I love Hocus Pocus. Of course I do. I grew up with it, the nostalgia. I don't like reunions or like sequels from a while back. It's not even like the principal or me on my soapbox with the Willy Wonka stuff where it's like there's no new original ideas. It's not that even. It's really that I never see the same magic, and then I just get mad. I watched the Friends trailer, and I was just like that. Then what I did, I literally watched that same Friends YouTube clip again, and like from the original, and just like enjoyed the bask in the original. So I worry about Hocus Pocus 2 in that regard, but everyone involved is so talented. And that being said, this premise does sound really awesome. Like where it's just 3 young women. They could make this the 3 young women and the 3 older women and just kind of like, go through the dichotomy of what it's like to be single women in a certain suburb and what that culture could be and how that goes up and down different ways. Because really, let's have this reach out to the adults now, or, the young adults even. Because originally it was for the kids and that was fun, but now these witches should be interacting with people our age, because that's the people that are going to be the most interested in this, and I'm truly fascinated. If they can go down that route, I'd be so happy.
I want it to be like 3 sorority women that are like out and like light the candle or something, or the incense. It's like the black flame incense.
Try to smoke some weed and that wouldn't work though.
No, Disney will move to Hulu. They got to move to Hulu.
Bring it to Hulu.
Oh, I didn't mention that. That's the other show I was watching. And I wanted to talk about this so bad.
Edit it in quick.
I'm cutting back, but I finally finished Love, Victor. And Love, Victor. Did you watch this, Darren?
No, we've been getting it once a week up here in Canada because, it came out last year in the States. We got it on Star here in February, but we've been doing one a week. I think they're all out now, so I'm going to watch that soon. But, I just wasn't ready. I'm like, I'm not doing this once a week now.
Love, Victor is I struggled with the first season a little bit, and here's why. There's a reason why, I think a lot of people did. It's a great story, and I think a story that definitely needs to be told. And I love I love Simon, so the connection to that is great. This was originally supposed to be on Disney Plus, and when it was on Disney Plus, for lack of a better term, it got neutered, and it had to be less mature, and there were only certain things they could do on Disney. And then at the last minute, Disney said, "Oh, it's too mature for Disney Plus anyway. Dump it on Hulu." So now when you're watching it on Hulu and Star, it's very they touch on topics, but never go they never open the door. They just knock on the door of a topic and never go deep into it. So there's a lot of opportunity there that they never hit on, but they did start finding their footing later on, probably the last 3 episodes I was highly invested in. And then finally watching the preview for season 2, which is coming out here this year. I mean, this next month, I believe. It is they're gung ho. They're all in. and I'm so pumped for it. They make a really funny joke, which I think I shared with you, Sean. But the one girl's like out with like a gay couple, and she's on the phone. She's like, "You need help? Give me the word, and I'll ditch these gays quicker than a corporation after Pride Month." And it was so funny because I was like, "Okay, now we're going to be relevant."
Yeah.
But it's a very good show. I do recommend it. I'm glad that it's getting a second chance because I think that if it didn't have this history behind it, that it probably would have been canned. But I do think there's a ton of potential there, so I'm really hoping that they maximize it. Anyway, that's Hocus Pocus is going to feed into that.
It works. It's a good transition.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Man, throw a gay kid into the Hocus Pocus too, and that's really going to screw up.
Oh, that's what come on now.
Disney will have one in the background, like
there'll be two kissing. Yeah, Star Wars girls. Just put them in the back.
Just put them in the back. It's fine. Anyway, Kate Hudson has joined the cast of Knives Out 2. She is one of a million people that is part of this cast. So at this point, here's who we know is part of it: Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Kathryn Hahn, and Leslie Odom Jr. This is kind of a music reunion. I have to bring that up again. But yeah, Sean, you were really excited about this casting.
All of the casting has been great. It has been wonderful. We're getting all these unique talents in different ways. But this was the kind of casting I've been looking for. Mm-hmm. Someone who is just sort of like a pretty much, for lack of a better word, disrespected actress because, she did Almost Famous and, almost was famous, but almost won the award for that one, won the Oscar. Mm-hmm. Rightfully, and some people would say should have. I forget who won, so I'm not going to say that officially at this moment. But like all of a sudden she's on the scene with that, then just does rom-com after rom-com after rom-com, and people just sort of forget about her and discount her. This is the type of person that belongs in a Knives Out film. If we think about the Knives Out cast, it had a variety of people at various levels of fame. And so I was loving the cast, but it was just like a bunch of just like solid, great picks, which was sort of annoying me a little bit. I mean, I was loving them, but sort of annoying me. This Kate Hudson got me. This is the best casting of it all. Mm-hmm. This is the Don Johnson. Like, this is it right there. And that's what, like, absolutely I just love about this is that this is going to bring in unique people at different levels of fame and different levels of popularity and different levels of talent. And I just love that blend. Oh, man, I can't wait.
Did you see the image that they released of the cast all together?
No, wait, they did?
Yeah.
Is this the... Okay.
Sean, what are we looking at?
All right, let's see what we got here. We got Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn hiding. This is the Golden Globes picture where she surrounded herself with an entire family so that people could forget that she was in the film Music.
Anyway, Darren, are you excited about this cast? Because we haven't talked to you about the 84,000 people that were cast in this film in the past 3 weeks.
Every day I wake up and going, okay, who's joining Knives Out 2 today? And I keep waiting for a name. It's like, oh. But I'm so far, I've been loving it, but I'm with Sean. I think Kate Hudson's the best casting so far.
Wow.
She did Almost Famous, so she's a really good actress, but she's done so many rom-coms and comedies where she's played various degrees of women. And I feel like she can be a lot of fun in these movies. She can kind of be that one really mean girl and be a real... Can we swear?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, she'd be a real bitch and be really good at it. And I see her being a mix of Jamie Lee Curtis and Toni Collette from the first one. That kind of aloof Toni Collette, but mean streak of Jamie Lee. And I see her being a lot of fun. And then she's also forgiving herself for being in Music. So that's nice because that movie is, yeah. Ooh. Yeah, it should have. I should have gave it.
Fell on the sword and reviewed it, right? I remember you were pissed.
Oh, it was bad. It was yeah. It's atrocious that was even made, and a studio went, "This sounds like a great idea," but
Oh, Darren, I want to change my pick for the summer movie. It's going to be Music now.
Go for it. I want to see you sit through it, and you have to live text me like I did to my one friend who's going, "This can't be real." Wait, no, it gets worse. I'm like, "Oh, we're 10 minutes in. Get ready."
I texted Sean the other day after this and said something along the lines of like, Maddie Ziegler was just cast as a paraplegic African-American lesbian or something.
Wait, was that real?
You asked that. You literally asked that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you said yes, and then so.
No, you said how, and I said.
Okay, but that's not as bad as music. Music would also have her have AIDS too, because yeah.
Did she have AIDS in that?
No, but Leslie Odom Jr. did as the black person. It was like it was bad. It was like, oh god.
No. I didn't know.
Kate Hudson still wanted to sleep with him, you know? Like, yeah, that movie was just a whole lot of
Which hey.
That's good. That's good actually.
That's
oh
positive.
no, she was really drunk, so you know that's not really. It was the drunk joke. I'm like, oh no, we're going down this road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have no words for that, so I'm going to have to move on to our superhero corner here because we're getting into a few superhero stories. And probably one of the most interesting directing choices in a long time for me is the Bad Boys for Life duo of Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falal are going to direct the upcoming DC film Batgirl, which is set up at HBO Max. I believe Birds of Prey's Christina Hodson wrote the script for the HBO Max film. And it's going to follow, of course, Barbara Gordon, who is Commissioner Gordon's daughter, as she becomes the titular hero. Joss Whedon was originally attached to this, so that's a cool thing.
Bye.
Yes. Darren, first of all, Birds of Prey, were you a fan?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite superhero movie, but it was a lot of fun. It was the last big release I saw in theaters before the pandemic came, so the last bit of normal. Margot Robbie was great in that, so I think if they get the right casting for this movie, it can be a lot of fun.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah. The directors, I wasn't ever a fan of Bad Boys, so I don't have any thoughts on them. I've not seen their work, but everyone seemed to like the third Bad Boys, and I always like seeing new directors from different backgrounds. They're both from Belgium. If I'm correct on that.
Yes.
I want to say Belgium. So I'm all for new voices in the superhero genre. So yeah, I think it's looking good so far. They got rid of Joss, so that's already a step in the right direction.
You're correct. They were born in Belgium. Yeah. I really enjoyed Bad Boys for Life. And I am a Bad Boys fan, so I was very nervous that they were going to just completely... It's a third film after so long, right? So it's a little bit nerve-wracking to see what they're going to do with that series, but I think they handled it very well. So the way they film the action, I'm very excited for what they can do with Batgirl. But it's going to be, I don't know, Batgirl's a heavy lift. Sean, thoughts?
I mean, I agree with you on Bad Boys for Life. The way they directed the action of two, just basically geriatric action movie characters was really phenomenal. It was kind of the action was the only thing I really liked in that. And usually in the Bad Boys movies, the action's fun, but you like it for, Smith and Lawrence. But based on this, the direction can go in a very interesting way for Batgirl. They can make this very, very heavy on the action because that's what Bad Boys for Life was. It was very heavy on the action. The action was a huge part of it. And it would be interesting to see. I know that every single superhero movie is basically an action movie, but it would be interesting to see how the Batgirl movie could move into just being straight up action movie. And I don't know if that's their plan. I don't know what their plan is truly. But I sort of love the idea. My interesting question here, in what universe is this in? Okay, good. We don't know. Okay. Because they say HBO Max a whole bunch of times, so I'm like, is this going to end up animated? What's happening?
Well, it's not. It's a live action.
Action.
But what's confusing now is that you have, of course, the Batman movies, the Christopher Nolan Batman movies that sit aside. You have the new Batman movie that sits aside with Robert Pattinson. You have Snyder's movies that are over here. And then you kind of have, where Birds of Prey, we don't even know where that's kind of happening to really think about it. And
Suicide Squad universe.
Which is in the Snyderverse.
It was in the Snyderverse because of the
Birds of Prey is kind of in that one. But that one has that weird branch because they're going to ignore Justice League. And so that one's messy. Yeah.
You have that going on, but then you also have the fact that you have the DC TV shows, which are now linked or they are in the multiverse, and there is a link based on the Flash cameo last season of the Flash. But then you now also have the Green Lantern show that is popping up on HBO Max, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. So, is HBO Max building their own little thing? But I believe that Green Lantern's going to play in the same DC TV sandbox. I don't know. I bet they don't know.
I'm not
thought
going to ask
Green
that
Lantern
again.
was the Snyder one because he wasn't allowed to use Green Lantern. I thought it was in that universe, but who knows? They change their minds every day over there. I don't know what they're doing. Someone help them.
Yeah, someone please rescue them.
Yeah.
Side note: did you see all the rumors that I can't find a source for about Disney interested in buying DC? And I'm like,
the best / worst news.
I don't believe that's.
No, it's not. It'll never happen. But we get it away from the people over there for now. Kevin Feige knows how to run a superhero studio, but they're not the right people to be running DC. DC's darker and grittier. Like, don't give it to 100%. Disney. But 100%. Just take it away from WB at this point. Like, I don't. Just
give it to like Lionsgate or something.
I was going to say. I was wondering. All that's left is Disney. It's Disney and WB. What's left?
Twisted Pictures.
Well, come on, Universal needs something with their Fast and Furious money. They're running out of them. They can't go much longer.
That's true.
Went to space. They're done.
Yeah, they can take Warner Brothers.
Well, let's jump down then and talk about the Green Lantern show that we're getting coming to HBO Max. This is from Greg Berlanti. He's the executive producer who has shepherded a lot of the DC TV shows forward, mostly on the CW. Supergirl was on CBS for a season, which was the oddest thing ever. But they are adding to the cast with the casting of Jeremy Irvine, who is from Treadstone, and he's going to be playing Alan Scott, who was the first Lantern introduced back in the 30s, I believe it was. He was reintroduced in 2012 as a gay man with a boyfriend, one of the most visible LGBTQIA characters in DC Comics. But he also will join Finn Wittrock, who plays Guy Gardner, which is another Lantern. And we're probably going to get other Lanterns as well. Interestingly, Darren, you just mentioned Snyder's movies, and the guy that was revealed recently that he was going to be playing the Green Lantern in his films is he's been teasing something. It seems like he's posting like more about the Green Lantern and stuff. So some people are theorizing that he's going to be pulled into this somehow. But I don't know.
Snyder picked him, they won't take him. Let's be real.
Sean, Green Lantern.
Oh, that's it. I am. It is charming how out of my depth I am right now. I mean, I looked at this story and I know of of course, the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. I am just the purely movie comic book person. This is my curse. And I don't know much about this character. I love the idea of opening up the numerous lanterns. I think that is something where, like, in the Snyder cut, there was a green dude shooting off stuff in a flashback, I think, and I was kind of stoked. I was like, oh, cool, they're gonna do some different things, but I want to see that a little bit more. I think Green Lantern's a tricky property because what the premise is literally they have a ring and then they can make up anything they want and just beat up everybody, right? Yeah. It seems like a Superman-ish type of deal, and I think that gets I don't know what I'm talking about. Why am I doing this to myself?
Power comes from the ring, though, so if they don't have the ring on, tis problematic.
Yeah. Can anyone have the ring?
The ring has to choose you or something, I believe, or you have to be given. Darren, you probably know more about this than we do. So Darren, hit us.
No. Joe, you're the DC guy. We've talked about this. You should know this.
I'm about to scooch back and get my my encyclopedia that's back there somewhere.
Oh, that's a really good idea. I don't have mine here yet.
Oh, wow.
It comes every week in Canada. It's just weekly installments.
No.
That's a jab because he won trivia and he hasn't received it yet.
In March.
Because I forgot.
Yeah.
I just sent the prize for the Oscar pool, so we're both there.
Okay.
I need to do that as well.
Oh, jeez! I thought I was way late.
I'm so bad with this. Anyway, Darren, thanks for joining us. Goodbye. No, I'm kidding.
Never welcomed back.
Would you rather this or Green Lantern 2 starring Ryan Reynolds?
I'd almost take Green Lantern 2 starring Ryan Reynolds and get some better writers in there. My thing is, This is coming from Greg Berlanti. He's done the CW shows, and I've been watching them since Arrow. First 2 seasons of Arrow were great. Then it went downhill. First 3 seasons of Flash were great. Then it went downhill. Legends of Tomorrow, actually, we'll do Supergirl. Supergirl was okay, then went downhill. Batgirl was just bad from the start, or Batwoman, whatever it was called. It was bad, and they are trying to salvage that one. Legends of Tomorrow is the only one that's gotten better and better each season, because it's just kind of doing its own thing and just having fun. I don't want to see the CW version of the Green Lantern. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard this one is taking place in different time periods with each lantern with their own story.
Oh,
I thought one was in the 40s and then this character's in the 80s. I could be wrong on that, but
could be. And I also just remembered, having read this earlier, that Diggle from Arrow was teased at the end to have, like, he would have become the Green Lantern or something.
Yeah, he just showed up on Legends of Tomorrow this past week, and it's whatever that setup was is happened. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know what it is.
So there you go. I wonder if he's going to be incorporated somehow too.
Yeah, which I'd be okay with that, but I think they need to kind of separate the CW shows because they live in their own bubble and they're all crashing and burning right now with ratings. So let's get rid of those. But in terms of Jeremy Irvine, I think that's a great casting choice. I enjoyed him in Treadstone. Probably one of the few people who enjoyed and watched that show, but it was fun for what it was. And he was great in Warhorse and Mamma Mia too. So let's give him a break.
Let's give him a break. Filmography right there.
Yeah.
I forgot about Mamma Mia. Good call on that one.
Young Pierce Brosnan. He was great. Yeah.
I'll also let you know that David Ramsey, who plays John Diggle, is on the guest list for an upcoming for one of the upcoming Superman and Lois episodes. So he'll be showing up there as well. More the merrier, so they say. Not sure it really works out, but that's what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says about all the gigs that he's getting, because this next one is really woof.
Oh, no. My goodness. Oh, God. Oh, you're liking it too much, too.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not having a rough time of it. He's set to land.
What is this? What's happening? What are you doing? You okay?
He's set to lend his voice to Crypto the Superdog in the upcoming animated DC League of Super Pets film, which I had absolutely no interest in until I read that Jared Stern wrote the screenplay for the Lego Batman movie, and now I'm interested.
Uh-huh.
Then again, he also wrote the screenplay for Mr. Popper's Penguin, so you take what you can get. You win some, you lose some. Crypto is the canine companion to Superman and has appeared in a variety of iterations in comics, televisions, and film, even if he was just hinted at. And this is going to be in theaters in May of 2022. I keep thinking about Crypto and Titans. I haven't fully watched Titans, but Crypto did pop up in Titans. Mm-hmm. That was a big thing. So who am I going to with this?
I'll start.
There you go, Darren.
Yeah, are you freaking kidding me? Are you going to think I'm going to do anything on this? I don't know what any of the words meant.
Listen, Darren will throw you a bone here, and
I do have a bone. Oh yeah. I forgot this movie was happening. I think it was announced a few years ago, and it was, DC had their problems, and people stopped caring what they were making because they just wanted the Snyder cut. This is animated. This would be for the kids, so why not? The Lego Batman movie was fun, so I have some faith it's the same screenwriter. The Rock is delightful in everything. Heck, he can come back and do a Moana sequel, sing and dance as Maui, and I'm all in, so let's let him be a dog. But Sean, I heard this one has an octopus teacher in it.
Oh, come on. I'm not even okay.
There it is.
Now. It's slander.
Yeah.
I am interested in this, obviously. That headline alone draws interest. I will not address the octopus teacher comment. I think The Rock is an interesting choice for the voice of a dog. A sentence I expected to probably eventually say. I don't know. I just think like a dog is a little bit more friendly and wholesome. And while The Rock sort of has that capability, like there's something scary about him being a dog. I don't know what it is. I don't see it being the the same level of charm that he has as a human. But I mean, it is him, and I think that he does the best when he's a little bit insecure. Like we talk about Maui as in Moana. He was very insecure about singing, and so that whole role and like the charm that he had in that was like he was worried about himself the whole time. And so you see something different in that than in like, his Kevin Hart comedies or the Fast and the Furious movies. He's a little bit more cocky, which is also fun, by the way. But I think like him playing a dog, like him doing the voice acting kind of holds him back a little bit, restrains him a little bit with like, with a leash on the dog, but also restrains him with the ability of the emotion. It didn't work as well as yours, I know. But
I'm just seeing a leash on the rock now. I'm like, I can't. I need to get.
Well, there we go.
In my head.
I mean, right on.
It's a weird story, but I can dig it.
Yeah. I'm ready to see it. Oh, shut up!
Oh man. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's follow up. The Rock is voicing a dog with talking about whitewashing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige recently spoke out about the casting of Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One in 2016's Doctor Strange, which is a role that she did reprise in 2019's Avengers Endgame. What's interesting is when I'm looking up the years that movies come out for those, I don't know why they feel so much further apart, but it's really only 3 years, which is wild to me.
Because there's like 8 movies in between. That's why you forgot about it for a while. You're like, oh wait, yeah, Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So when the casting was first announced, there was some confusion around it, as the character in the books or in the comics is typically portrayed by an Asian man, and Swinton, of course, is not an Asian man. Recently, speaking of Men's Health, Kevin Feige said that this was a mistake, and then that the original intent was to avoid cliches, that the way in which the character had appeared in a lot of the comic books was playing on stereotypes, and they wanted to move away from that as much as they can. But he did go on to say, quote, "It was a wake-up call to say, well, wait a minute, is there any other way to figure it out? Is there any other way to both not fall into the cliche and cast an Asian actor?" And the answer to that, of course, is yes. So this has continued to be just confusion. I know there's some groups out there that were just saying like this was a whitewashing of the character, which technically it really is. Mm-hmm. But Sean, what do you think about him talking about this at this point?
I mean, I appreciate him talking about it. I mean, granted, he still made the mistake. He still screwed up, and you can't really, take that one back. I do, to a point, understand what he's trying to say mm-hmm. here. Because there are a lot of like stereotypical racist characters. I think of the other situation that isn't brought up here, but is the Mandarin. And
I was just looking that up.
Yeah. And they they dealt with that in a very interesting way, which, I enjoyed. And it was just sort of this fake, kind of actor way. I think that their heart was in the right place here. They weren't just saying like, oh, we just really want Tilda and, that kind of deal. They were wrong, but their heart was in the right place. Mm-hmm. It is better to have someone of that culture or ethnicity to reclaim that character. And that, I think, is the important moment here. You're going to have, you want to get rid of the stereotypes? Let's talk with the writers. And obviously the writers will work with that and make sure this character does not turn into a cliche or a stereotype or something that could be blatantly racist. And I think that the people involved, I think if there's a character of that ethnicity involved, or excuse me, not involved, playing the character. If there's a character of that ethnicity playing the character, they will also be able to step in because it's a little bit more of a modern age. And I think actors have a little bit more of a say in what they are going through or who they are playing. Once again, though, I mean, Feige's learning. And, we say, wow, this was only 3 years ago. A lot has changed in 3 years. And I think that it's still bad. And I remember when this movie came out, these articles were on there. These think pieces were there. They were drowned out by the noise of, hey, cool, look at Doctor Strange. He bends buildings. And then it ended. I think that, we're going to maybe hear from Tilda and she's going to say something about this and probably will have the same sort of thoughts. Most likely, I don't want to put words in her mouth. But I think this is difficult when you are like, and once again, I don't know anything about comics. I just hear about these things where these are racist characters. And like, how do you handle recreating some like characters that were racist in the past? I think I'm talking in a circle now, so I yield the floor.
Can I ask you a question though? How did someone not tell him? Because at some point I feel like he probably was told, or like they probably recognized that this was going to be an issue. Because at the time they doubled down on it.
They did, yeah.
And it just, to me, it's like, I don't know. Was it a, ask forgiveness later type thing, or I don't know.
I think, oh boy, that's a really tough question, because you're right. And maybe he just ignored a bunch of people that said this is a problem. Maybe it didn't go high enough up the chain. I mean, maybe, yeah, I don't like, it's tough because there's no real command here. It seems like he had a final decision on this and he thought he was making the right decision. And so he probably said no to some people and probably ignored some people, which it's not going to look great. But, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he's learning his lesson, and I think that they're stepping in a somewhat correct direction.
Darren, what are your thoughts on this whole story?
Kind of the same as Sean. Like, they did it, they doubled down. It's nice he's admitting the mistake now and trying to say he's learned. We'll see if that actually is the case. I think based on the Eternals casting alone, they are seeing the error of their ways, trying to get a bit more diverse casting. I think, though, the intent wasn't to whitewash the character, as Sean said. This was back, the casting would have been 2014, so this is when getting women in roles in Hollywood is very important. So I think that was the angle he was going for. He missed the race card, which was bigger in 2016 when the movie was released. That was just before Crazy Rich Asians, so just proving at that point that, they want the diverse cast as well. So I think Marvel's heart was in the right place. I don't think Feige was trying to whitewash the character in that sense. He was trying to put a female in and went, okay, we need a big name behind this movie because, yes, the internet loves Cumberbatch as Sherlock and all his other characters, but general movie audiences know his name is not, okay, no, let's put Tilda Swinton in there. I think it was a bit of a numbers game there. The thing about this article that surprised me was Kevin Feige talking to Men's Health. I don't think of Kevin Feige talking to Men's Health. I think Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, those guys are on the cover and flexing, and it's like, oh no, Kevin Feige was talking to them also. I'm like, why not?
I was trying to gloss over that one.
When you said like he quotes Men's Health, I even had a little chuckle. I think it should be stated that in this day and age, like no one is trying to whitewash. I think people are just oblivious to like problems, and I think he just straight up was not thinking and thought it was fine. And it was one of these things where he's not like, yeah, no, we got to put a white person in there. But
Joss Whedon thought that.
No, he didn't want yet.
That's Joss Whedon. That's let's not go down that road. It'll be another hour until we move on to the next story.
I think that was episode 35 through 39.
Great times.
Because every week it was like, yeah, remember that thing we thought he did? Confirmed.
I saw him on the outline. I was like, how do I give a fresh take on this? Hey, he's really racist.
Terrible. Yeah. All right, well, moving on to the next story. Cher has been cast in the upcoming Batgirl pick for HBO Max.
What happened to you? She's voicing a dog named Crypto.
Yeah. Daughter of... anyway, Universal Studios is developing a Cher biopic that, in true Cher fashion, she announced on her Twitter account on her 75th birthday. This is going to be produced by the Mamma Mia brainchild, Judy Kramer and Gary Getzman. Eric Roth is going to be writing the screenplay. He is the Oscar-winning screenwriter behind Forrest Gump, and most recently penned Martin Scorsese's upcoming film Killers of the Flower Moon, which is at Apple with Leonardo DiCaprio et al. And it seems like this is going to be really just showing her entire career, and probably more of like a musical fun thing. I'm thinking it's probably more in the vein of Rocket Man and stuff. But I don't know. Darren, are you into this? Because I think I could really get into this movie.
I like musical biopics. So whenever I see one get announced, like, okay, typically you get really good performances from the lead and playing the star because they want someone good there. You're going to get a lot of fun music with Cher. So I'm all in there. And Cher's had an interesting life. There is Cher and Sunny. So we're going to have that era. We're going to get the more modern era of her activism and stuff. So I think there's a lot to be told there. My worry is there too much for one movie? How fast are they going to rush through it all? I'd much rather take, maybe just the film on the early years with her and Sunny and, kind of define it in a time period instead of trying to cover all 75 years of Cher.
It's going to be a 4-hour Cher cut.
Well, if she does that, I'm all in. Like, get the right casting. And when I heard this, I'm like, okay, who can play Cher? Who in Hollywood can play Cher at different? Because they've got options. Timothy Chalamet. Yeah, he can do no wrong. He will sing as well, and my ears will bleed. No, I'm sorry, that was me. He wasn't that bad. He wasn't Pierce Brosnan.
Timothy Chalamet, a frequent listener of the Guide to Movies.
Exactly. Yeah, I just lost 1,000 followers because Instagram lost him. But oh well.
I called Dave Bautista an asshole on the pod the other day, so I just did again. Apparently, you're fine.
Yeah. So. I think it can be fun. I was thinking, if they want to go, she's not American, but she's British. She can sing, she can act. Samantha Barks, she was in the Les Miserables movie. She was Eponine, and she's a big Broadway West End star. So she could be great.
I love her.
My other thought was Lily James, because Lily James, she can sing. She'll just have to dye her hair, but, she's doing Pam Anderson, so why not do Cher next?
That's true. She is in that movie with Sebastian Stan.
That photo is in my brain forever now. No, it's like that's Lily James from Cinderella and Mamma Mia. There she is petting Sebastian Stan's bowl.
Not your Disney's Lily James anymore.
Exactly, she's done there. So I think Cher would be great, and then Sonny. I always want to see Aaron Tveit in more things. I'm like, let's get him in as Sonny. He can sing. He's great, but
so good.
Yeah, I'm all in.
He's been quiet recently, hasn't he?
He just did Moulin Rouge on Broadway.
Okay.
He was Christian, which was phenomenal. So.
Gotcha. Someone's saying Lady Gaga online to play her.
Which
I don't know how I feel about that.
They could do it like the Cher musical and have Cher at different stages of her life. Have like younger Cher be Samantha Barks, then have Lady Gaga at the older age. And they did that on Broadway. They did like 3 different people playing Cher.
Yeah, the Cher show.
Yeah.
They could do like an I'm Not There situation and like Bob Dylan be 5 different people.
Yeah.
One of them, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. Samantha Barks, Lady Gaga, Kate Blanchett. I'm all in. Yeah. Done.
Someone also said Zendaya based on, there's a picture here that I'll try to pull up real quick, but she was kind of dressed like similarly to her at one of the recent awards. And she actually does look really good here, or at least really like her. Let me see if I can get this up quick enough so that it doesn't really stall the show before we go to Sean and ask Sean what he thinks of this. And we're going to get it up right now, and I'm about to hit it, and here we go. I don't know where it is.
Okay, so I'll do my stuff while this happens. Just the same sort of deal. I hope this is the Rocket Man way, because Rocket Man is what did something very different to the musical biopic. And I love the standard musical biopic. I don't want to make fun of it. I mean, there's some that are pretty bad. There's some that are pretty great. The Respect biopic coming out for Aretha Franklin looks so good. And maybe it's only because I have this bias for Aretha Franklin, but and how that is looking like it's coming out. Eric Roth is just the great writer for this, because he's always just like the Hollywood guy to bring in to just like write a pretty serviceable, pretty solid screenplay. I mean, he just came in with Forrest Gump, Benjamin Button, Killers of the Flower Moon. Like Scorsese works with him quite a bit, I think. And it's just great. Like, get him in here, get him to do like a pretty damn good screenplay. So the fact that he's writing it is interesting, working with the Mamma Mia producers. That is a fun clash, because that's standard biopic with a lot of goofy stuff. And, I just hope they do something different, but even if they don't, it'll be a fun movie to watch.
Didn't get to see that Gump too. That's my favorite part of Spiral. This is the picture I was referencing.
Oh, wow.
Over at the Oscars, right.
It's kind of uncanny. So that would be kind of a neat direction to go. But
interesting.
Obviously, that's based on looks, and this is a really multi-level role that they have to cast. So who knows? That should be interesting. But I'm into it. I love Rocket Man, and if they're going that route, I'd be really pumped about it. It sounds like, from what I was reading, that Cher really kind of got along very well with the producers when she was on set for Mamma Mia 2.
Who wouldn't, though? Fly me to Croatia, I do one scene and fly away. Who wouldn't have fun doing that? Let's be real.
Seriously.
Had a great experience.
Yeah.
It's not that type of party, little girl. Final story for the evening and for the pod is that Variety's reporting that Henry Cavill's in final negotiations to star in the upcoming Highlander reboot from Lionsgate. The original film, which followed immortals waging a war in secret and battling for a Prize is what they refer to it as, was released in 1986 when I was born and starred Christopher Lambert, Roxanne Hart, Clancy Brown, and Sean Connery. John Wick's Chad Stahelski is attached to direct. Darren, thoughts?
I love Henry Cavill, so I'm excited for him. He needs to be the next Hollywood A-lister. WB did him dirty with Superman. I'm still mad at them. I will never get over that. We don't know
for sure that it's like that he's gone.
I don't know. They announced the other one on his birthday, and that was just a little. It's like if that's not a goodbye, I don't know what is.
To be fair, they also did announce that Jason Momoa was going to be voicing Frosty the Snowman. So like the track record isn't the most trustful.
That is true, yeah. But no, so yeah, there's that. But then he was also in this. I loved him in The Man of U.N.C.L.E., so I'm all for him being the next great. Bond. So if it's not going to be Bond, let's let him do Highlander, tap into his Scottish heritage, do that. I've never seen the original, so I don't know really what it's about, apart from the synopsis that he ends up in New York as a Highlander. I'm like, I'm all in. I just let him go. He will be great. It will make loads of money and everything.
Sean, I really want your thoughts on this, but just based off of that, like going to New York thing, I really want to see like an 80s film where it's like recognizing all the different things that take place in New York. Like, you know, like Ghostbusters is happening while Highlander's there and Coming to America and like all those things. Everything was set in New York, but like have it be like everything like combining. And oh God, I would love that. It's kind of like a Ready Player One for like 80s New York films. But Sean,
let's
Highlander.
Let's do it.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill, Highlander.
Well, I mean, I love the casting because he's sort of a natural in this type of role. And the only thing I could think of is from The Witcher. And The Witcher was a pretty solid series. I think he was the best part in it, without a doubt. And I love the idea of probably him, you know, doing another medieval type of thing that also, you know, ends up modern day, I believe. But I love that the director is John Wick. I think that, you know, ropes me in right away for some action. And so, again, this sounds great. You know, this is a film that it's tricky to reboot this one because it's beloved, truly beloved. And so how will audiences feel about it? I mean, I don't know if any of us remember the remake to Point Break. Exactly. So could this be, and this has better people behind it, but like, it's one of those things where, is it the right idea to reboot something that really is beloved and has that cult classic status? On one hand, I think, yeah. I mean, like you, Darren, I actually have not seen this movie. I mean, of course, I've seen there can only be one, and like just always, you know, you get that line. And this is a movie that, you know, I haven't boycotted it. I just, you know, it just hasn't come across my desk. And I would, you know, love to see the original and then see what a modern take could do. Could it do something nice to it? On another hand, I do want to see Henry Cavill in more modern day roles. I want to see him playing like an everyday dude, like throw a mustache on that guy and beat up Tom Cruise in a bath. Oh wait, he did that. But like just things like that, where he's, you know, working on that, or, you know, or him in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but him having a little bit more fun as, you know, like spy espionage, or, I mean, God forbid, romantic comedy. Like, I think that this guy could have something really interesting. I just don't want him in the past all the time, or, you know, as like just these epic roles. It's interesting to say, yeah, give him a break, get him out of that Superman cloak. But like, I think like it's something where I want to see the everyman and see what that can do.
We have someone in the comments, Michael Evans, who we all know, said, I think the time is right to redo Highlander. I love the original, but it could stand to be done with new effects and such. I think that's a really cool opportunity for a lot of those 80s films, even 90s, to really explore what can be done with today's technology. That's definitely something that is, I think, works in the favor of a reboot. No breaking news, which is kind of crazy. Aside from the Escape Room movie, the sequel has a title. It's called Escape Room Tournament of Champions. IGN is reporting that the Portal movie, so it's a movie based on the video game Portal, is still alive at Warner Brothers, according to J.J. Abrams. So that's happening. I think I mentioned earlier that The Boss Baby is going day and date to Peacock, so it will be in theaters and on Peacock Premium at the same time. Peacock Premium is just basically like I think it's the commercial free, or maybe it's more access or something. And then the last bit of interesting news here, interesting tidbit that I just found on the Twitter from Will Mavity, who's at Maverick Movies.
Mavity.
Yeah. Tom Hardy has a story credit for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, which is kind of fascinating. Story by Tom Hardy and Kelly Marcel.
That is very interesting.
And isn't Kelly Marcel his... I thought she was related to Hardy.
Maybe. But she did write the screenplay.
Yeah.
She wrote the screenplay for the first one. She also wrote the screenplay for 50 Shades of Grey. So, you know.
Oh, that's
all
a
over the
good
place.
sign. Yeah, that's great. Those are masterpieces in their own remarks.
50 Shades of Venom.
Yeah. Hey, 50 Shades is great. You get to see my beautiful city, and that's the only thing you should care about that movie. Because it's like, look, we're Seattle. Yeah, it's like, look, we're Seattle. It's like, actually, it's Vancouver, but look at that ocean, and the rest of the movie is a train wreck.
Oh, man. Well, that is all the news that we have for this week. I want to talk about new releases this week that are coming out. Tomorrow, actually, on Amazon Prime Video, we have a 3-part series, so to speak, dropping called Borat Supplemental Reportings, which also has a longer name, which I did not pull up for this, but I will tell you right now. It is fully referred to as Borat Supplemental Reportings retrieved from floor of stable containing editing machine. And the 3 parts are as follows. The first is Borat VHS cassette of material deemed sub-acceptable by Kazakhstan Ministry of Censorship and Circumcision, which has never before seen footage from Borat's subsequent movie film. The second is called Borat's American Lockdown. It's described as a 40-minute reality show centered on the portion of the sequel in which Kazakh journalist Borat Sagdiev finds himself in lockdown with a pair of conspiracy theorists. And the third one is Debunking Borat, a series of 6 documentary shorts in which Borat's new roommates have their theories debunked by some of the world's leading experts.
Oh, no.
The shorts featured in this special are titled Vaccine Microchip, Mail-in Ballot Scam, Soros, China Virus, Gates Bricks, and Hillary Clinton and Blood Libel.
Jesus.
So they all come out on Amazon Prime Video in the States tomorrow. Hopefully, Darren, that means that you're getting them either then or soon.
We should.
Every week.
Amazon, if they're an original, we get them the same day. That's typically the rule.
I think it says here they're releasing them hour by hour. So like you'll get the first hour monthly.
Like 3 o'clock and then 4 o'clock and then 5 o'clock. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
A Quiet Place 2 also hits theaters on Friday, and Cruella hits theaters and Disney Plus Premiere Access Friday. This is actually a quiet week for releases compared to the past few weeks. It had a lot going to VOD and stuff, but I think these are 2 heavy hitters that they're expecting to really liven up the box office. So that'll be fun. And then Thursday is Marvel Phase 2 trivia, which Darren is very good at.
Yes.
Our winner from last time.
I don't have that book either, no.
Darren's team name was America's Ass last time.
That's pretty good.
And then future trivia is 2 weeks from Thursday will be Phase 3, then the Fast Saga, then Schitt's Creek. And also Sean and I will likely be back with another spoiler chat. They seem to be going over really well. People are enjoying those discussions. So as much as we try to keep them short,
hey,
doesn't always happen.
The best moment is last time you literally just did my plug information instead of me doing it because you knew I would.
Yes. That was great.
It wasn't intentional.
It's available on Instagram at.
It wasn't intentional. I kind of realized I was doing it, and I was like, "Oh God, okay, here we go."
It's actually a good idea.
Yeah, but anyway, Darren, we absolutely appreciate you being here, and as always, have fun chatting with you, and love to have you back in the future. But please tell people where they can find you.
So you can find me on Instagram at Darren Movie Reviews, and also at guidethemovies.com with my MCU television show recaps. And I guess Loki will be starting up next week.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the preview will be next week, and then the recap will be the week after. Yeah. Wow, I better get writing that.
How dare you?
I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, that's coming. Wow, I'm excited for that show.
It should be interesting. I think this is the one where they're gonna truly test whether they can keep doing these shows, because this one is, I won't go too far, but we're in a different reality now, so we're really branching out. So can they keep it without all the Grace Gary's tanking it?
Yeah, time will tell.
Yeah.
Get it?
Time. Yeah, I got it.
Sean's just looking like
I'm just trying to figure out what thing they're gonna do throughout Loki, where it's like, who is the Schmootsky Poo? Like, and just like, like, how do we find the Spigglepuss? And it's like,
it's still Mephisto. Like, it's fine. Just keep going down that road.
It's gonna be Mephisto. It was like Power Brokers, Mephisto, and then this one's gonna be another one.
You know that somewhere down the road they're writing something, and they're like, "F, we have to include Mephisto now." And they're like, rewrite it.
People are gonna be pissed.
People are gonna be pissed. This doesn't pay off at some point. They're like, that's for phase 7. Yeah. Anyway, so that's I have a new appreciation for recapping, because I've been doing Superman and Lois as well as RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under, and it's hard as shit to get everything in there that you want to. And mine always end up being so lengthy, because I'm like, and then this happened when he turned the corner and he opened the door, and it's a pain in the ass. I need to get better at it, but hey. And you can find Sean at Math Teacher Movies. All right, well, no, kidding.
You can find me at Math Teacher Movies on Instagram. I do Monologue Mondays, what the Oscars got wrong. What the Oscars got wrong. What the Oscars got wrong Wednesdays, and Final Shot Fridays. I review TV shows and movies of old and new. I also, on GuideTheMovies.com, have a weekly column that comes out on Mondays. Sean's Oscar Watch. Also, by the by, fuck the octopus teacher.
That's 3. That's a hat trick for the octopus.
There you go. That's perfect. Oh my God. And you can find me at GuideTheMovies.com, Guide the Movies on Instagram, Guide the Movies 1 on Twitter, and other places. I play with TikTok a little bit. That's a lot of fun. But I end up in like TikTok holes for an hour. It's horrendous. But definitely check it out. Learn a lot from the Basic Cinephile. She's really good at it. She's always on there. She's like, top 5 high schools from WB shows I would like to go to. She pulls out the most random stuff, but it's great. Lots of fun stuff coming to Guide the Movies. Of course, as Darren mentioned, Loki is coming up soon. We also have MODOK recaps that are dropping all week. And we are returning to the Mandalorian rewatch tomorrow with Netflix and Chill with season 2. And Superman and Lois will be out at some point. I'm really bad at releasing them. I'm so bad. And also Drag Race will be out at some point this week. And yeah, may or may not be seeing some upcoming films soon. So when I can share them with you, I will do that. So I'm excited. On that note, Darren, once again, thanks for being here. You can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, all the big ones, all the small ones. Make sure you subscribe, comment, smash that like button.
It's smash that subscribe button. Don't do this. Come on.
The sad part is you know what it is so well.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, and they all want me to smash that subscribe button.
Lightly tap the subscribe button, if you will.
Caress it first.
Yes.
I broke my phone because of Guy at the Movies.
Yeah, we will not be liable for.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been fun. See ya.